Greetings everyone and welcome, my name is Riel McDowell and this will be a channel update for the month of February. There's a lot of things I want to touch upon, so without further ado, let's just jump right into this by kind of mentioning the discussion page. So on the discussion page, I've been kind of posting two updates there, and for the most part, it's somewhat similar to what I'm doing now, but it's more structured compared to the complete banter that I'm doing for these for the monthly update videos. It's sort of funny when I look at it because I can manage to do the gameplay beforehand. However, when it comes to the audio-wise, I just forget about it until the end of the week or the end of the month. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a recurring thing now, unless next month I just do not do that. But yeah, that's something. In addition, I've also been implementing a little bit of a new type of recording schedule, to which it's really unimportant. It's just that I'm recording videos on their respective days, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Digital Devil, Tuesday, Thursday, Soul Blazer, and then Saturday and Sunday would be the Sword of Hope type of thing. So that's basically that type of thing. It's not really that important, but it does kind of help with the upcoming stacks of homework that I'm going to be getting. So yeah, moving on forward is that with the month of February coming to the close when we're approaching March, a lot of the games that I've been recording have already been finished up. Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei and the Sword of Hope have been finished up like early February. Soul Blazer just finished up last weekend, and Dragon Quest, the new series that debuted this past Wednesday, has already been finished as well. I don't know when that's going to be finished. I think it's going to be like the middle of March, I'm going to assume, maybe. And I've already begun recording the two new games that's going to replace that. I forgot to also mention Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, the Sword of Light, if that is also the right name for the Saturday and Sunday series. So yeah, I think I already mentioned I've been recording two new games on the channel. So originally, Dragon Quest was never supposed to be the 5th game. It was supposed to be Legend of Dragoon. The 6th game was gonna be Thousand Arms, and the 7th would have been Guardians Crusade. However, I decided to kind of halt those projects for just a little bit, and for the most part, they're just on temporary hold until I find a more better time frame to begin recording, which should be much sooner. Because what I have in store for like the 10th, 15th, the 20th, and the 25th game for the time being. So yeah, the 10th, 15th, and the 20th slot have been chosen. The 25th game is still in a little bit of a guessing, because to kind of also reveal, I could have the 25th game be Kalki Megami Tensei, but I really don't know for the time being. I'll figure it out when I ever reach the 24th Let's Play, if I ever reach that far. So yeah, I think with all that said and done, let's kind of go into the Let's Play updates type of thing. So as I mentioned, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei and the Sword of Hope have been finished. They were finished, I think, on the same day in the beginning of February. I think that was a Thursday or Friday. So yeah, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei. The difficulty spike in Hellfire and Affinity was unbearable, to say the least. And when you look into, like, I think it was like the Maruzuka area. Basically, when you get to the second part of the area, you run into multiple enemies that can basically put you to stone, which really hurts. Because if by chance, if my MP user was stoned, I can't use my magic, which basically reverses me to go back to the main area, and it just wastes a lot of my own time, which for the most part was literally what I was doing with Digital Devil. So yeah, Maruzuka was by far one of the worst areas for me personally because of those enemies that can basically afflict stone to you. I think Hellfire was I think the only problem with Hellfire was, in general, was basically when you first enter it, you will take constant damage because you don't have the ropes to protect you from the fire, which basically means you would really need to do a perfect run of that area, and you really do need the Game Facts guide to help you, or else you're gonna die immediately because of the fire thing. And Affinity, okay, that was just a very long area. And yeah, I think like the 6th to 8th floor, I think it was the 6th or the 7th floor, that was just unbearable to handle, and I just couldn't, I just wanted to end it at that point. But for the most part, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei has been a really good time. The difficulty spike was basically the more challenging aspect of the game, but like I said, it was a very good game. I don't know when I'm gonna do the second game because of the whole translation thing, but hopefully I manage to do the second game in the coming days, or not in the coming days, but in the coming months. So yeah. To replace Digital Devil, we have Dragon Quest, the beginning of the Dragon Quest franchise, and for the most part, my knowledge of Dragon Quest is I actually don't have much knowledge of it. I think what I know from it is that I played it on the Nintendo DS when I was younger, and I think that's about it. Or it could be Dragon Quest that I did. I don't remember. I think it was because it was like, yeah, I think it was because I remember Fortune Street actually having like one of the areas and you see a golden train. I think that was a Dragon Quest game, but at the same time, I don't know, and my Nintendo DS is completely lost somewhere in this household. That's basically one thing. Dragon Quest has been finished up. I think I finished the game last weekend. It wasn't really that long. It was like only 13 hours at the best. I think the second game also might be 13 hours. So, I think what I might do is because of how long the game lasted, I could just do the sequel immediately because of how short it was compared to like if I did Digital Devil or Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem type of thing. So yeah, Dragon Quest finished up. There's already a new game already recording to replace it. I'm not gonna reveal that yet. It is a part of a main franchise. It is a side story, and it's actually a bit of an interesting RPG. Originally it was released for the Game Boy Color. However, when recording the Game Boy Color version, by God, it was hard to actually play the game. Not because of a difficulty spike or anything, it was because the version that I had was glitched to the point of being unbearable. So, I found out that the game was also re-released on a different platform, and from saying this, I think most people would assume what game it is. It is a side story to a main franchise, and it was originally released for the Game Boy Color. You could somewhat tell what the game is from just guessing alone. From what I've heard is that it's also a 13-hour game, and I've actually been currently in a grinding session in that. I might record like the main story after this also goes up as well. Moving on is the Soul Blazer. Soul Blazer finished up last weekend. It was a very fun game. I really did like it. Nothing really much to say about the game afterwards. 13 hours was a really great experience. It was a great journey. The ending was very great as well. I can't wait to play Illusion of Gaia, if that is actually the next game in the unofficial trilogy. Sort of Soul Blazer, to my prediction, like with Dragon Quest, I think it's going to be projected to end sometime next month. I just don't really know because I haven't actually begun editing those series as of yet, because for the most part I've been recording the 2 new games. So to replace Soul Blazer, it's also a part of the side story to the main franchise, originally released for the Game Boy Color and was re-released for the Game Boy Advance. Another hint to say what I'm basically playing. And it's also like I said, it's also part of its own type of series, just like with the next game. So yeah. Moving on, the Sword of Hope. Honestly, I rushed the finale. I just did not want to play the game anymore after the Underground Labyrinth and the castle. If you want to know why, those druids, I really do not like those druid enemies. They deal the worst type of damage, and I think they also heal themselves to my knowledge. So yeah, I was upset at the idea of that game, and I just did not want to continue playing afterwards. I don't necessarily hate the game, I just hated how the mechanics were. I just prayed that the sequel was much better. I think I remember the sequel's only 8 hours at the best, so I don't know. I just prayed that it's a little bit more better than what I played in the first game. And yeah, to replace the Sword of Hope is Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, the Sword of Light for the NES or the Famicom. It is a translation patch. The game currently lasts at least 50 plus hours, and from what I've been made aware of from the Game Facts guide, there's 25 chapters. I think I'm on the 10th chapter, so we're in the beginning middle type of portion of the game. So at that point, yeah, the beginning videos were at least 30 to 40 minutes. However, with the coming chapters, they're about to become an hour because yeah, infinite enemies are not fun for me right now. Literally, like, in general, a lot of enemies were starting to respawn, and it was just problematic from the very get-go. I don't have a projection date on when Fire Emblem could be finished up, but considering like 25 chapters in the Saturday and Sunday series, I want to assume it's going to be finished up in either April or May at the very best. So yeah, I think from what I've heard is that Fire Emblem is at least 45 to 50 hours. I don't really know, but hopefully that would be something that I really... But moving on, it's not really a bad game. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. I'm just pretty bad at doing tactical RPG type of games. What are the next type of games I'm recording? I don't really know. One of the things I kind of want to do is start to record a little bit of those point-and-click type of games. I've been somewhat interested in doing those games for a while. I actually did dabble a little bit into Broken Sword, so maybe I might record that game at some point. One of the things I kind of want to mention is that I didn't mention that in my very terrible beta pilot for the January update video, is that I actually do have a secondary channel. However, as of yet, I have been not recording any videos there yet. I don't know why, and I don't know how I have not done it, but I think it just comes from me being procrastinating a lot. So, yeah. I think that's all I needed to talk about for the time being. If anything, I'm missing anything, it might be in the March update posts, but for the most part, I don't really know. So, yeah, without further ado, I shall see you guys in the next video.
What?